Hey guys, Unbox Guy here. Today we have another Stetson straw hat that I'm going to be doing a review on. This is Stetson's Latte Milan Fedora. I'm going to give you some insights into the materials, the quality, and whether this is a hat that you think you want to pick up or whether you want to pass. Before we dive into this review, I wanted to talk a little bit about my own specialty coffee roasting business called Brain Fuel Coffee. I started it a couple years ago, and I'm dedicated to sourcing the highest quality coffee and always ensuring that my customers enjoy what they purchase. If you would like to give my coffee a try, I put the link in the description down below, and if you use the code UNBOXED, it'll give you 20% off of your whole order. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Ryan with the Peaky Hat Company. If you like traditional style newsboy caps, this is going to be a brand you'll want to check out. This right here is one of his summer fits. It's a linen cotton, super light, super breathable, really nice color. He's got a lot of different color options and styles, mostly traditional. So if you'd like to check out some of his products, I'm going to put the link down in the description as well. So let's talk about this hat from Stetson. So this is the Latte Milan straw fedora from Stetson. We have what they call their Florentine Milan straw. Now I don't believe it is a actual wheat straw. It is probably more likely a synthetic straw, probably plastic, especially for the price. But don't let that deter you from your decision of whether you want to pick it up or not. This is a really nice hat, especially for the price that they're selling it at. So looking at this hat closely, we have a 2-inch brim. We have a 4-inch crown here. They finished it off with a, I would say, butterscotch color grosgrain band, not a bow, but more of a casual fold right there, and then also a Stetson pin. I'll get a close-up of that in just a bit. So you can see that band, like I was saying, the color there, nice Stetson pin. Now I actually reviewed one of Stetson's straw, actually Milan hats in the past. It was the Emin, and that one was a lot stiffer. Now this one, on contrast, I actually like this better, is going to be a lot more flexible. So you can see when I pick it up, it bends a lot easier. It's also got more flexibility in the crown right there, which makes it feel a little less brittle and maybe more rigid, something that's going to last you a little bit longer. So I really like that about this particular hat. One of the other things that this hat has, as opposed to the Stetson Emin, is it actually has a trim. And I really like that. It finishes off really nicely. It gives it a nice refined look to it, and it also just really ties everything in well. One of the things that I particularly like is that when they sewed it off there, they actually got it straight. There's no overlap. It's not uneven. The stitching looks really nice in there. So that really finishes it off well, I think, and completes the look of the fedora. One of the things that I think was missing on the Emin when I reviewed that one. Now looking at the inside here, we have what Stetson calls their cotton liner. Feels kind of like an athletic material, so something that's going to be absorbent for any sweat, which is really nice. They also have kind of like a synthetic leather trim along the outside right here. And they finished it off with a bow, and of course the Stetson patch on the inside right there. So this hat on Stetson's website comes in at $105. I think is pretty reasonable. It is made in Garland, Texas. Now let's talk about some of the pros and some of the cons that I think are present in this hat. One of the pros right off the bat is I really like the flexibility of the straw of this hat. It doesn't feel brittle. It feels nice and malleable. It feels like it's going to last, something that you can wear throughout the summer, and you'll be able to hang on to it for quite a while before you have to get a new one. So I really like that. I like the trim that they included on this one. I think it finishes it off. It makes it look more refined, and I really like that. I think the color is pretty good on this hat. Might not be my #1 choice, but I do think that this was a solid color that they chose. Now let's talk about some of the cons. I don't think there is a lot of cons about this hat. I think maybe if Stetson had more colors of this style hat, that would be really neat to see, although that is more of a preference. Another one of more of a preference thing for me is that I would prefer a little bit of a wider brim. This is a 2-inch. It almost looks more like a 1.5-inch when you look at it. So it's a little bit short, but it's still a really nice fedora. One of the other things and the biggest details that I think is a con is the sizing. One of the problems that I've seen with Stetson is they have sizes on their website, but depending on the style of hat, whether it's hemp, whether it's straw, or a felt hat, sometimes they fit differently, and they don't tell you that on their website. They say that it fits the same, which isn't true. This hat, I found I would order a size smaller than you normally wear. So if you wear a size 7, I would get a size 6 and 7/8. Now, why is that? You might get it in your size and you put it on, it feels good, but especially in the summer heat and as the fabric starts to loosen up, it will start to sag on your head. And so I would recommend getting a slightly tighter fit, a little bit of a lower size or a smaller size than you normally wear, just to ensure that it fits the way you want it to. So that wraps up this video. I think overall this is a really good hat. Let me know in the comments whether you think you're going to snag one of these for yourself or whether you're going to find something else. And as always, like this video and subscribe for more.